Hello and welcome to A Journey to Awareness. Are you ready to take a voyage to the uncharted places within you, where you will be guided to ways to heal your wounds, look at your life choices, release your fears, and take control of your future? Stick with me through these podcasts and you will take the most exciting adventure of your life, the journey to you. Let's go. Hello, I'm Shauna Hoffman. Well, we are just days away from this next election. And if you're listening to this after the election, listen even closer to see how you have navigated this time and if you could have done better. The anxiety and the fear that we're going through as a country has been so overwhelming for so many people. The saddest part is how it's affecting families and friends that have differing opinions, whether morally, ethically, religiously, or politically. The political drama is having a huge effect on families, on friends who would normally get along, with people in the workplace, with neighbors. As a therapist, I'm helping my clients navigate this difficult time. So I thought today I would try and bring some clarity to my podcast listeners. I felt that the best podcast I can do right now may be to help with some healing. A way for us to remember who we are personally and yet find some level of compassion for those who don't see life as we do. The first piece of this moment in all of our lives is to know what we each believe for ourselves. And I truly drive home the words for ourselves. It's a moment of true awareness when you can differentiate your own beliefs from those you were brought up to believe. When I work with clients, this is truly one of the hardest things to do. We are programmed from a very early age to think, act, react, and believe what our parents, our family, community wants us to believe. And then we go out into the world, and all of a sudden we're challenged to see things differently. We're challenged to see humanity in ways that our family never saw it. The world has gotten so much closer to us. It's a click on a website or a YouTube video or a newscast away. This is a huge journey of self-awareness. Because you have the ability to see people in new and different ways than you were brought up with. You see communities that need help that may not have been in your sight growing up. You're seeing people of faith in their God that actually have the same values of love and compassion that you believe. And you're seeing propaganda. And this is what's been dividing so many people who actually love each other. On our journeys, it's our true job to see past what other people want us to see to find our own truth. Whether it's propaganda, watching only one news source, emails from friends or families trying to get you to think or see life their way, it's our jobs to look deeply at everything and find our own truth. You see, they've not lived the life you have. They have not had the trials and pains that you have experienced. They have not struggled with your struggles. They don't have your body. They don't have your bank account. They do not have the same needs that you do. To have anyone tell you what you should believe or who you are or how you should vote just doesn't make any sense. So I offer you to think outside the box you were brought up in. Podcast after podcast, I talk about our morals, ethics, and values. These are the pillars of who we are in life. These are the three things we strive for in order to become better humans every day. These three things are the core of our own humanity. It's our job to look deep within and choose whether we become more compassionate, honest, self-aware beings, or whether we choose other values to rule our lives. But most importantly, it is our jobs to quiet everyone else's voices to see what we truly believe in our hearts. I believe that true compassion is one of the pillars of humanity, but that also means that I offer you to find compassion for people who think differently than you do. Again, we don't know the lives they've led and the struggles they've had. Do you ever have things that just fall into place from every direction? Well, last week I shot a documentary pilot that I was cast in as the moderator. It's an amazing project that uses a relationship-building method to bring people from opposing thoughts together to have a healthy conversation. It's called Reunite. It's based on a quiz from psychologist Arthur Aaron that's believed to help boost intimacy between two people. It's 36 questions that two people ask each other in order to find a level of closeness that allows you to be more emotionally intimate with each other. The questions could be as simple as, would you like to be famous and why? To questions that really bare your soul, like, what was your worst memory? Then you stare into each other's eyes with no talking for 4 minutes. In the documentary we shot, they're bringing in two people with opposing political beliefs. After the series of 36 questions and the eye contact, they're asked a political question and given 30 minutes to discuss it. The hope is that after being vulnerable with another person and having them be vulnerable with you, you are more likely to hear what each other has to say. You become less reactive and more compassionate. It's fascinating. It really works. But the most important part of this method, I believe, is that for 36 questions, you actually are asked to listen to the other person. So I believe it sets up one of the most important parts of communication, listening. You can check out the 36 questions online. You can do it with anyone you want. My personal struggle has been listening to people that I believe come from abusive, self-serving ideology. I get a pit in my stomach and a sadness in my heart, and it makes me afraid. So I really thought about that. Fear. I thought to myself, what if I ask those people what they're afraid of? What if I listened to them? A Course in Miracles says there are only two things, love and fear. So if they're not coming from love, they must be coming from fear. What if I could get past my own fear of their ideology and behavior to see what they're afraid of? And that brought me back to my belief that we can't have healthy arguments if we don't listen to the other person. I knew without a doubt that my own fear of their behavior and morals were causing me to have absolutely no respect for them and not even want to listen to them. But how could I listen to them with compassion if I didn't respect them? Oh man, this one is so hard. So I had to make this experiment smaller for myself. I couldn't watch the news and see people I didn't know and practice this. I had to look at the people I loved, the people I knew who thought differently than I did. I had to go back to the respect I had for them before this election and see if I could see what they were afraid of. Why would they make the political choices they are making? I had to find compassion. Then I decided to try to have conversations with them, true conversation. Listening to them in hopes that they would listen to me. I realized that I may never agree with some of their beliefs. That was okay. But I also know without a shadow of a doubt that on my journey to being the healthiest person I can be, I need to find peace around those who live in alternate universes than mine. Now let's be clear. That does not mean that I do not fight like hell to make this world a better place. It doesn't mean that I sit back in silence when I see that alternate universe treating people in ways that go completely contrary to my values. It doesn't mean that I accept hate in my world. What it means is that I choose to do it with no hate in my heart, because hate goes against everything I believe in, and it feeds their universe. Mahatma Gandhi's most famous quote, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." So now it's your turn. I offer you to look deep in your soul to see what your beliefs are. I offer you to know the difference between your truth and what others tell you is their truth. I offer you the peace of listening to others and still claiming who you are to the depth of your own being. Remember what I said in the podcast on fighting. Listening to someone does not mean agreeing. But if we don't listen to each other, we will never know the fears of the other person, and we will never know the love we have to share. Please be good to yourselves this week. Take loving care of you. Eat wonderful, healthy food. Have loving conversations with those around you. Stand up for what you believe in. Drink lots of water and sleep peacefully at night. Vote, vote, vote. Thank you for letting me into your life this week, and I look forward to popping back again next week. Thank you for joining me today on the Journey to Awareness podcast. My hope is that you leave this podcast inspired, fired up, and ready to take that next step on the magical journey of self-awareness, and then you come back and join us again. Oh, and if you can do me a quick favor and please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes, I gain so much from reading the reviews and getting feedback from my listeners. Thanks again for spending your time with me today. Be sure to visit me on my Facebook page, Working on Me, and on my website, workingonme.com, for past episodes and insight into the fabulous journey to you.